beautiful sands and seas of Huatulco in Mexico towards the Pacific Ocean as the athletes get underway for the final 2009 ITU Triathlon World Cup. And straight away going to the front, as expected, was Sarah McClarty from the United States of America. The former Florida Gators swimmer really putting her mark on the race from the very outset. Behind her, a few of the athletes looking to finish their season strongly, including Jessica Harrison from France, who was third at the ITU, the Dexter Energy Triathlon ITU World Championship Series in Madrid, and Helle Fredriksson, who's making a bit of a comeback following a couple of crashes earlier in the season, the Danish athlete crashing out in Kitzbühel in London. But McClarty took the swim prem for the first lap of 1,000 metres in the swim, trying to get the photographers a bit wet on the way out, pocketing her $500 extra to her prize money. Jess Harrison then leading the chase with a couple of the Mexicans and a couple of the Danes as well, then really getting quite strong, the Europeans, towards the back end of the year. Carol Payne there from France as well, also exiting the water, looking to cap her season off in style. So back in for the second lap of 500 metres, and McClarty was well out in front. It looks a long way, as you see on the swim, but if you think about it in cycling terms, how much distance you could gain in that period of time it takes for the extra swimmers to catch up, and McClarty was going to be well up the road once she got out onto the bike. And sure enough, a comfortable win then in the swim from McClarty as she exited the water, and then she had the hard task of 40-kilometre time trialling on the bike on a particularly hot day in Mexico. So McClarty then coming into transition. A familiar sight seeing her in first with a clear field behind her, and following her out was Jess Harrison then trying to lead the chase with Jensen there from Denmark as well, also having a particularly good race on her World Cup debut. Emma Davis from Ireland also trying to put a bit of a cap on the season following some early season injuries. But Jess Harrison then very experienced with a couple of Olympic Games and had a particularly strong year in the Dexter Energy Triathlon ITU World Championship Series. As her partner Carol Payne, so French heading out onto the bike along with Helle Fredriksson. Fredriksson and Harrison actually had a particularly strong battle at Alanya a couple of weeks ago in the ITU Premium European Cup in Turkey. You see a quick shot there of McClarty struggling on the hill. It really is very steep here, and hopefully we'll get to see a few clips of that later on. So here's McClarty just finishing off the hill section. Nice hairpin at the back end of the course to turn around on. Some beautifully flat roads here, and none of the athletes fortunately went down. We see here then the sweeping chicane towards the bottom of the hill which the athletes went through, almost sort of reminiscent of Laguna Seca Raceway in the United States, a famous racetrack there. They really had a good test, and you see some of the athletes probably getting out of their saddles now as we have to battle for these little inclines. Over the course of 40 kilometres in 36-degree heat and really soaring temperatures and the sun beating down, it really takes a lot out of you, and I see a lot of the athletes carrying 2 water bottles rather than 1 on their bikes for this particular event. They're really working them hard at the front then, Julian Peterson from the United States. And eventually on lap 3 of the 8, McClarty was caught up, and a lot of that hard work has got to go down to Jess Harrison from France on the green bike. So big pack of 9 athletes then coming into transition, and a bit of a dark horse is Ueda there from Japan, just having a bit of a tangle up with Julian Peterson. Ueda had a particularly poor season really by her standards, a double Asian champion, has never actually made out the front pack of a swim during the 2009 year, but managed to do it here, and she's always a very fast runner, and that would come to play on the run. Leading in the chase back then, the young under-23 German Rebecca Rabisch, former World Junior bronze medalist from Lausanne 2006, and Yulia Sapanova from the Ukraine, the European under-23 champion. So then the top 3 went away very quickly. Ueda, Harrison and Fredriksson, some very experienced minds and very experienced legs in that field as well. Further behind, Emma Davis from Ireland was desperately trying to hang on, knowing a top 10 position here would do her the world of good heading in towards the 2010 year. So taking on lots of fluids throughout the run and really trying to cool down. There was ice on the course as well as the water, but further from behind, Sapanova and Rabisch working well together as they try to claw back the advantage, but no one could stop Ueda, who broke away on the final 2.5 kilometres to take her first win of the year. A fantastic victory for the diminutive Japanese figure, but you should see her leg turnover. It's quite phenomenal once she gets going. A very well deserved victory by Ueda, and in second place Fredriksson for the second time in a fortnight, just outpacing Jess Harrison in the final part of a race to take a silver medal. Harrison then very pleased to get her bronze as we turn towards Ueda's reaction to the race.
It was very hard for me to pedal a bicycle because it was very hilly. I hoped on the podium. I got a chance. I'm so happy. I really enjoyed this race. I'm very, very happy. Thank you.
I think I cope with the heat pretty well. I've been training at Fortaventura and Lanzarote, so I know how the heat is affecting me, and I feel good here in the heat. I had very much respect for this course and the bike particularly, because on the training days coming over here, it was so hard on the hill, and I just think, okay, you gotta be safe out there and then see what you have on the run.
It's been a really long season. I think that probably played out at the end of the run. I'm just missing maybe a little bit of freshness, but it's really been, I guess the season mentally finished in the Gold Coast, and then I wanted to do a good cycle of run training to finish the year. So when I cut back training in December, then I've got some good bases to go on. So really, the point of coming to here in Alanya was to do kind of put a full stop on the end of that training cycle.
Well, with Ueda back to form on top step of the podium, we should look forward to her in next year's Dextro Energy Triathlon ITU World Championship Series, and we'll be sure to seeing Fredriksson and Harrison up there as well, I'm sure, next year.